It's coffee. It's comics. It's music. It's Nerds on Coffee.
Doesn't it feel so much better in here?
Oh my god, it's amazing. Are we live? Oh wow. It's a weird feeling because to our horrible fan base that I don't know why they put themselves through this pain feels like they just heard us the other day, but for us it's been like 2 months.
It's been forever since we've actually been in the same room and recorded.
In this room, because we did record about 2 weeks ago in New York.
Right.
But this room is special, you know?
Yes.
It's where you rape me for the first time.
Yes. Well, that you know of.
Yeah, the encounters of a third kind alien probing happened far before that.
Amazing.
But yeah, what's up, everyone? As you can tell, my voice is a lot calmer than it normally is because I'm running on a combined
like almost no sleep.
Yeah, I think maybe 10 hours of sleep over the last 5 days.
I've been there, my friend.
Yeah, we just did EDC this weekend. I was with Say My Name. We had 3 shows over 4 days at the largest music festival in the world.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's pretty wild. Then came straight from the venue in Vegas to the airport this morning. Went home, slept noon to 5, and now we're here.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a good time.
There you go.
Now I'm drinking this.
Got coffee.
Yeah, what is it again?
It's just the Target like Archer Farms brand Colombian like medium roast.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I was actually pretty surprised with it. I mean, nothing that like the Target brand does is like ever disappointing.
It's interesting, right? Because like everything the Walmart brand does is disappointing.
Almost all of it, yeah. Unless you're going for like fucking like I need like dental floss, like you know what I mean.
Even that, like, I feel like they would fuck up.
even that, it's the experience.
Like I feel like their dental floss would give me like gingivitis.
Even if it didn't, the experience of having to go get it is made worse from having to just be in a Walmart and be around people that go to Walmart.
Isn't that so fascinating how branding works? So because the reality is there's not much difference between a Walmart and a Target except for the aesthetic.
Very little. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the constraints that society has put on us to make us feel like it's socially more acceptable to buy things from Target than it is to buy things from Walmart it's fascinating that people care.
Yeah, they care a lot. I mean, and there is the like unavoidable truth that Target does get stocked with some, not all, with some like better brands and like higher quality products.
But the Target brand itself is pretty strong.
Target brand's very strong,
right?
Yes, and
same thing with the Whole Foods brand. I feel like a lot of these Whole Foods has that 365 brand.
That's solid. I like.
It's
solid.
Great.
Love Whole Foods.
Trader
love Trader
Joe's has their own brand, and
I
feel like all of these, they're not department stores, but kind of centers where you can go buy things of various brands.
Right.
The ones that you feel like are better are typically the ones that have a strong in-house brand.
Right. Well, they're just really consistent, and
because like no matter what. Even if you go there saying like, I'm going to just buy like the expensive stuff, you're in the back of your mind, you're always like, well, at the worst case, I can just buy their brand and I know it's really strong.
Right.
You can't say that about a Walmart. And I think that's probably where some of it goes.
Well, most people don't. And we're also like in the like upper middle class, and so like we have.
I don't know about you. I'm in the high middle class.
I'm in the whatever is the closest to never having to get out of bed at all. I'm right there. I like people choose that. I mean, again, it's a preference thing, and it's marketing, and it's but it is a little bit of like, I mean, some people's like. There is a stigma that surrounds Target and Walmart, and for the most part, it's manufactured, but there's a little bit of truth to it, and I don't think that's unfair to say. I think everyone would acknowledge that. We want there to be more truth to it, because then it's going to justify our shitty feelings, but that's just not really not really the case, and so...
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would say that's probably true for most things.
You know what I do love buying, though, at Target that I feel like is better than at Walmart, even though the product itself might be the same? Candles.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
For some reason, they just have the better scents.
Yeah.
I really like, for the record, the most upper middle class thing I could have ever said.
This is a Whole Foods candle.
No way.
The Enlighten.
Oh, wow.
hand poured in Arizona.
You know how you can tell when a candle's of value and not, and this is like the most privileged conversation we've ever had.
I really doubt that, but it's up there. Yeah.
The thickness of the flame in the candle is how you know if it's a good candle.
Yeah, that's not some like fucking pencil dick wannabe flame. That's that's a big motherfucker. Like real motherfuckers know. Like
totally.
Oh, I said that the other day.
but you, and it makes the candle that much more badass that you have it that close to all these guitars.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like I don't know if I would do.
If I'm gonna burn down $40,000 worth of guitars, I'm gonna do it with like a really nice candle, like only the finest quality arson for my instruments. No, I said real motherfuckers know the other day during a meet and greet with Logan. We were in Oakland, which I hate.
You.
Yeah, I don't think it's wrong to hate Oakland. It's the shittier like cousin of San Francisco.
Right. It's like you moved all the way to Cali and you didn't move to Los Angeles.
Move to LA or San Francisco.
And you know, even San Diego doesn't have that stigma because like, okay, cool, you just want to be closer to Mexico where like your dollar's like 1 to 20.
Right.
Cool, I
when
get
San
it.
Diego's like really chill. Like
San Diego's tight.
but still has like good culture and food and like music. Like,
and your driving distance to where your $1 equals 20.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like you can't hate on that. I get it.
Exactly.
But Oakland is like the Texas of California.
Oh, it totally is.
You started in LA and you drove 7 hours up the coast, but instead of driving the extra 90 minutes, you stopped.
You just stopped. Well, that's how I feel about Arizona and like the early settlers that came from like the East Coast and they like, you know, set on their pilgrimage across the United States. And some people just fucking stopped at Arizona.
It's so fascinating.
And they put like fucking buildings there and they got like businesses and enterprise now. And it's just like, why did you quit? You're 6 hours from LA.
I thought about that. You know what I think?
Which is the coast. Like,
I think that those people that did that, it had to have been a timing thing, right? They must have been traveling as pilgrims in the winter and it was like 70 degrees out.
They got there, they're like, oh my God, this is the most perfect weather anyone's
ever
ever experienced.
And then it turned to be 110 in the summer and they were like, oh, we fucked up.
Yeah, the principle of relativity had not yet been learned as by people culturally. And
there
so they're like,
weather patterns.
wait a minute, it's January 1st and we just left a state where it was -5 and all my family's dead. And now I get to Arizona and it's January 2nd and 75 degrees. This must be heaven. Didn't register to them that like, oh shit, in July it's gonna be 130 outside. I'm gonna fucking die.
Yep.
Like, because we also haven't figured out air conditioners yet, and our fans are thin pieces of paper that we have to hold. Like,
I always think about that, especially when I watch movies that are timepieces.
Right.
I'm like, wait, so you had no running water, which means you had no toilets,
Right.
which means you had no showers, which means you used buckets. How do you look so hot?
all right.
Right?
It just like everyone just looks terrible.
Right? No, like when you watch I mean, I love these movies, so I don't really.
Are you talking about the cast? You're talking about like people are attractive and they like are reasonably put together?
Yeah, like I don't want to hate on the movie because I love the movie, but like a perfect example is like the Sherlock Holmes movies.
Oh, everyone looks fucking great.
Fucking gorgeous.
10 out of 10, man.
That's not reality.
Well, it's just Hollywood.
Yeah.
No, I know.
But the thing is, like, I feel like people that watch that don't put 2 and 2 together. They don't necessarily realize that when they're.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, like, here's the thing: you watch like these old westerns, and like you watch movie, or even like new
anytime
westerns.
you see Clint Eastwood on screen, that's how everybody looked.
Well, that's the point I was just about to make. Except I was gonna go one further and be like, hey, you watch an old western, and then you see like the town drunk outside of the saloon, and they tried to make him look as shitty as possible. That's what the best person looked like in 1700. Like that was the standard, and no one wants to admit it. So anyway.
That's why people just killed each other
exactly.
in showdowns because it didn't matter.
Oh, totally. The fact that anyone...
Life only started mattering when people actually were able to do something with it.
Exactly. I don't know how anyone made it out of the 1700s or 1800s.
No, for real, though.
I just don't get it.
I don't understand how art happened, right? Like the Renaissance and like things like that. Like,
right.
I would like to believe it's all real, But also
Right.
a lot of me wants to think that a lot of it's like a renaissance, like a renaissance, wrong word, is a glorification of the reality of the situation.
Right. Well, you go to museums. First of all, you can't like mistake the incredible art that was made because you can literally look at it.
But it's interesting because I look at art from that time frame in the same way I look at the pyramids. It doesn't scale appropriately. You know, like some of the art back then is objectively better than the best art today.
Sure.
Just like the pyramids are objectively still the best structurally integral design ever made. It didn't age well.
No.
Right? Like it should
But it's still there.
Right, which makes no sense, right? Like I feel like there should be
aliens,
more
man.
structures today that are based off the pyramid design.
I completely agree.
If not in actuality, at least in maybe the base, right? In the base of the
Right.
building. Maybe things got more modernized for sure.
Right.
But how do you take a structure that today archaeologists say is the strongest design for wind, weather, etc.
Right.
And it's nowhere.
Well, but that is
except for Vegas.
But that's material dependent. Like if you start making things out of like metal and alloys and steel, like it gets a little different because now we have a lot of manufactured materials that on their own, pound for pound, are empirically superior in every way, but independent from the structure that they're in.
Wouldn't you say though that the strongest structure though in design would still be the pyramid? So that means that
overall that's the best design.
Right. So if the materials are swapped for rock to alloys, wouldn't that be even stronger of a structure?
I mean, I don't think so because maybe, I don't know. We're talking about an area of engineering and physics that I just don't know a lot about.
You should know everything.
But yeah, I mean, at some point you can only make something so strong, and no matter how well it's supported, its ability to support itself is going to be most of what that is.
I agree with that.
And so anyway, we were in Oakland, and I said, real motherfuckers, no. And
who did you say this to?
That's the funny part of the story. I said it to
a 13-year-old girl.
No, it was the guy. It was one of the venue staff, like one of the security staff that was helping, kind of like usher people through meet and greet. And he was one of the guys. He's one of those guys that like you see and you're like, have we met before? Like surely we've done this before. Like he's so personable and so nice and so easy to be around. And he was also one of the types of like venue people that was also like, is just a fan of everyone. And he's like got kids, you know what I mean? And so he's just like, oh, hey man, like when the meet and greet's done, he also was like, could I have like a laminate too? And like, can you guys sign them? Cause I like to collect all of them. And we've all had like tour bus drivers over the years that love to do shit like that. And
why they do that versus some other
it's
iteration.
Awesome. Yeah. It's so great. So I think the best way to describe this dude is he was like a perfect blend between like Dave Chappelle and like Mike Epps, you know? And so he's like kind of got that like goofy, quirky like personality, but he's cool. And so I'm trying to like describe him in a politically correct, non-racist way without just saying like he was a black dude. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Because I can also say that and everyone be like, oh, all right, cool.
Yeah, he's a black dude.
Right. But I'm trying to like be respectful and like use, you know, obviously, like I reference two well-known black guys to describe him, so I kind of did it without doing it. There's just no way around it. You can't talk about someone that's another
it's a high
race.
middle-class way of saying
Right.
he's black.
You can't talk about someone that's another race without having to dance around the races. You just can't do it. You just can't. Like, I literally was like, hey, man, he was a really cool dude. He was kind of like Mike Epps. And then immediately people would be like, oh, you mean a black guy? Because I'm not black.
And
so, like, you
do
can't,
think
like,
that
yeah.
is like so strange. I get like the political correctness and like the need to be respectful, but like the dude's black, the dude's black. The dude's white, the dude's white. The dude's
Right, exactly.
Asian, he's yellow.
Exactly.
But
I just don't want people to think I'm racist until I say something racist. Then I want you to think I'm racist. But don't like false.
It totally went over your head what I just said, didn't it?
No, it totally went over your head. No. I'm trying to make another joke. I'm trying to further the joke and say, like, I only want you to think that I'm racist, like, deservedly. So, like, only think I'm racist if I'm being racist. Because then I'm okay
Right.
being racist.
Right, no, I was just
Like,
racist
on
to
purpose.
Asians. I don't know if you heard that.
Oh, no, I guess it went over my head. What'd you say? Oh, shit, I totally missed that joke. What'd you say?
I said, it's like if he's black, he's black. He's white. If he's Asian, he's yellow.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Because no one's afraid of Asian people. That's why everyone talks shit about them.
I'm very afraid of I've met Shaq. I'm very afraid.
Of Asian people?
No,
because you met Shaq?
Of black people.
I know.
No, not literally, but like
anyway,
as Joe Rogan said,
I know.
I would not. I do not think women should guard the White House, and I do not think I should guard the White House either.
Because I've met Shaq. Exactly.
Because I've met Shaquille O'Neal, and his dick is where my head is.
Yeah, dude. I probably watched that stand up once a tour, like on a plane. Like
it's good.
Always in my saved Netflix like queue of just shit that I can watch offline. Anyway,
it's arguably the best line I've ever heard. I like
because it's a perfect way to put anything in perspective. Like.
He's barely the same species.
Shaq, a long time ago, ceased being a celebrity and just became a global unit of measurement. No matter what you're talking about. Like, no matter what you're talking about. You could be talking about, like, fucking sushi. You could go to, like you could go... Anyway, you could fly to Japan and you could go to Jiro's sushi shop under the subway. Like, you could literally go there. People who don't even speak English and walk in the door and you can be like, and then he could bring out like, 10 rolls of sushi and one of them could be bigger than the other one. And you could go, God damn, that's the fucking Shaquille O'Neal of sushi. And everyone would know what you were talking about in Japan.
So true.
That's how amazingly like gargantuan he is. And like how beautifully society has just turned him into a unit of measurement.
Before I let you finish, sir, I will say I've held one of his sneakers.
Is it just like the size of your arm? Like
it's legitimately the size from below my kneecap to my ankle.
It's just so big. Like that's unfathomable to me because like I'm a 6'2", 200-pound dude and I wear like a size 9.
Bro,
like, I have
he
a small
wears a
foot.
23.
That's insane, man.
A 23.
It's just bizarre.
What?
I can get the biggest pair of shoes that I own and put them both on and then put both of my feet in one of his shoes.
But you know what the most bizarre thing about the whole thing is?
Huh.
His mom's really small and his dad's not that tall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen like Shaq documentaries and stuff and like
it's like he was beamed down and those are just like
it's
fake.
Crazy. He also couldn't be a nicer dude.
Oh,
he's also
the nicest dude.
Extremely like well versed in like lots of industry. Like he's also an entrepreneur and like he's one of the dudes that came out.
He owns like 200 Burger Kings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know
him and Magic own a lot of fast food together.
I knew that he was really heavy into real estate.
No, him and Magic back in the 90s invested a lot of money in fast food joints and own a significant portion of them throughout the country.
Man. That's what you do. That's why they're not hurting right now. That's why whenever in the early 2000s MTV Cribs went to his house, he has a 65,000 square foot house.
Right.
It's mad. That's like bigger than a mall.
Yeah, he just doesn't give a fuck.
No, he doesn't at all, and that's amazing.
That's what happens when you break backboards. When you are standing next to all of the creme de la creme of athletic prowess in the world, and you can do something repeatedly that no one else can do.
Like everyone else on the court looked at Shaq, and Michael Jordan for that matter. If we're gonna have a conversation, let's have a conversation. Like there are athletes that other professional athletes who are also better than everyone else in the world at what they do. Those athletes look at the higher tier of athletes the same way that me and you look at the lowest of the professional athletes.
Right. That another good example of that is like Vin Diesel next to The Rock.
Right.
Right.
Well, and
he is objectively a large fucking dude.
He's so big,
but he looks scrawny.
Yeah.
Next to The Rock.
Exactly. So I think that the Olympics or any sporting event for that matter should have like a pregame event that lasts for like half an hour and we just get any normal person, even any person that in shape that goes to the gym or whatever.
Why does that have to be a pre-thing? Why couldn't it just be part of the standard?
It just runs parallel to the
Bob
game. Yeah.
needs to run next to everyone so that people understand how absurd it is.
I just don't think that
I don't think that people realize
that's what I was about to say.
How insane like
the difference
Michael Johnson is.
Exactly.
Or Michael Phelps.
No, that's the point that I was about to make. I completely agree. Like most people don't realize how big the gap is between even a person who's in shape and is athletic between the dude that never gets to play on like the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like the guy that like got signed by like the fucking tiniest skin of his ass and is thankful to be there and never goes on the court is still miles ahead in terms of like physical dominance and physical ability than like most people who are in good shape.
Right, like the way that you should do it is you should take the last draft pick of the first round of the NBA and have him go one-on-one against Jordan. So this is the 31st best new player in the world, and he looks like an amateur.
Right.
Like this dude will crush everyone else.
Right. Yeah.
And he couldn't even come close to standing up to him.
Exactly. That's how big of a gap there is between people and athletes. And I say people and athletes because like when athletes and people, it's like, fuck you, no, they're not. You're not a person if you train 100 hours a week and you only eat the shit that we can bring ourselves to eat like maybe once a week when we're like, I'm going to be really healthy today. Yeah. They eat that every fucking day.
Yeah, have you seen like Tom Brady documentaries?
Oh, just about his fitness and like what he does? Like
it is very clear that everyone on the Patriots is in awe of how he does it.
That's
so
crazy.
He's first in, last out every day still at the training center.
I know that the
he's
guy
there
just
by
has
4:30 a.m.
Right, yeah.
His diet is unreal, and all the like you see like these like, and I'm just to say it, these like 24, 25-year-old yoked out black dudes that are like, I can't keep up with Tom.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like what?
And Tom's like, I think it's
normal.
I think
he's the most normal person,
right?
Like physicality wise.
And I don't want to like. It's difficult.
Like you put him on a beach shirtless, he does not stand out.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's a pretty average-looking dude,
but I think
compared to all the other athletes.
Right. No, but he's also fairly average-looking due to other people. But you know where I think the difference is? I bet if you did a brain scan and like his drive to succeed,
there's
like
some other
that
thing,
like motor cortex in his brain would like whatever area that is that like makes you like never give up would be so much more inflamed.
Yeah, he has all of it.
Yeah, he has all of it. All of it.
Yeah, his brain's that. And then there's a little bit of room for, like, I married a model who makes even more money than me, which is unbelievable.
Right.
And I love fucking, like, steak. It's like, those are the only other two parts of his brain. And then most of it's like, I can't quit.
But like, he also just won the Super Bowl for, like, the sixth time at, like, age 44. And he looked unbelievable.
Oh yeah, it looked like he was like his fucking rookie year. Like it's like you can't. The dude's unbeatable. He's arguably the best athlete.
But it's because he plays smart.
Yeah, that's true. It's like it's not all about like
and
physical dominance.
you know, there's a lot of places you can see that. Like Wayne Gretzky was not the most physical dude,
right?
In any imagination.
Totally. That guy wasn't shredded. He was just really good at what he did, and
he was
great
at
approach.
Torque. He had great torque.
Yeah,
but he wasn't strong, but like
he understood the mechanics of what he was doing.
Derek Jeter,
so well.
Same thing.
Also, dude's in good shape, but like Derek Jeter's...
not Barry Bonds.
No, not at all.
Not Mark McGwire. Dude look like scrawny, but arguably the best mechanically sound player. So I think that there are athletes, obviously, that are Shaq.
Right.
But then there are athletes that are Steve Nash.
Right. They're just good.
They
just do it. They understand. I mean, some people just have gifts. I understand the argument of like having a gift and then having natural talent and then working hard and then being dedicated and motivated.
You can eat
it's like
all of the steak in a room.
It's a
at
melting
any time.
pot. I have a gift. Yeah. Like no one else can do that. Like fuck you. I like whatever amount of like good steak, like nice restaurant steak that you think that you can eat more than me. I'll pay for it if you eat more than me. I'll do it. I'm issuing a challenge. If anyone wants to go, we'll go to a steakhouse and we'll enter into an honest bet, and I will pay for the meal if you eat more steak than me. But if you don't eat more steak than me, then you have to pay for the meal. It's fair.
And if you order a drink and say we should split, then you pay for all of it and fuck you.
That's right. Go back deep into the archives of Nerds episodes and listen. If you order a lot of alcohol and you order a lot more shit than other people at the table and then you still insist on splitting it, you're a fucking asshole. Like, I hope you never get invited into a restaurant again and all of your friends punish you by not hanging out with you for a month straight. Like, fuck you if you want to split the bill and you order a shitload more than everybody else. Exactly.
And Oakland.
So I said real motherfuckers no to this security guard in Oakland. And like we got done with the meet and greets and he like I get hit up like every now and then, like a very small amount of the time. I get hit up to like take photos with fans, or like people recognize me. Like it does not happen very often, but I'm around like well-known artists enough to where like 1 out of every 100 fans will be like, "Hey man, I'm a fan of like how you play or whatever." It's like it's enough to where like I'm like, "Oh dude, this is like awesome." Anyway, it doesn't happen very often. So I still, whenever it does, I'm like, "Oh, like you want to take a picture with me? Cool. Like let's do it." And like I'm trying to be really humble right now, because in the moment when it happens, I feel like fucking Madonna. I'm just like, that's right, bitch. Like you're honored to be in my presence. Like, like that's inside. That's how I feel. And on the outside, I'm just like, oh man, it means so much, you know? Anyway, so like Logan, he was like, "Hey man, Logan, can I take a photo?" And I was like, and Logan was like, "Of course," because the dude was so cool. And Logan's like super cool. And so like, and he was like, "Oh no, like I want Kyle to get in the photo too." And I was like, "Oh, dope." Like, but I didn't say that. Like, I kind of got this look on my face. I kind of perked up, and like the look on my face was like, "Oh, cool, man. Like, thanks. That's super fun." And Logan, like, obviously, he made the obvious joke of like, "Ugh, you want Kyle in the photo?" Like, you don't know, like Logan like made the joke. It was funny, and the guy and like this security guy was like, "Nah, no, totally." And so then I took it upon myself. I just kept straight face, and I just walked by. I looked at the security dude, and I looked at Logan, and I said, "Real motherfuckers, no." And then I walked next to the security guy and took the photo. He laughed. Everyone laughed. We took a photo. After the photo, the dude just leans in my ear and he goes, "You're fucking retarded," and then walked away. And that's the end of the story.
Wait, he said that?
Yeah, he said that to me. He goes, I go, "Real motherfuckers, no." And everyone laughed. And then we took the photo. And then after the photo, he leaned into my ear to where like only I could hear it. And he goes, "You're fucking retarded." And then he just walked away.
But did he say that with a laugh?
No, he didn't.
Oh, that's amazing.
He just goes, "You're fucking retarded, dude." And he just walked away. And that was it. That was the end of the story. And that was the only thing that I had to tell about what happened in Oakland.
Did you tell that to Logan?
Yeah, immediately. The dude hadn't even walked off yet, and I told Logan. I laughed so
Wait, did
hard.
he laugh?
Yeah, I laughed so hard, and then Logan laughed. Everyone laughed. It was the funny, way funnier joke than my joke. It was hilarious, and the dude had the like.
Audacity?
The dude was like badass enough to make the joke to where only I could hear it, and then be okay with the fact that he made a funnier joke than I did, but then he was secure enough that not everyone had to hear it. And it made it even cooler because he knew that I was going to fucking tell everyone about his funny joke. It's like the confidence that guy had is fucking crazy, man. Like,
and it's like nothing compared to Shaq's confidence.
right. That's like the Shaquille O'Neal fucking joke confidence. But it's nothing compared to Shaquille O'Neal confidence. And so...
So for the last, I don't even know how long we've been recording. I've been like having this article popped up.
Yeah, you want to talk about Endgame, I know it.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, when do I not want to talk about it?
Even more than we did with Maxwell.
Well, now it has topped Avatar domestically. So
that's crazy.
So domestically, it now is at $771 million, which brings it to... roughly, they said it's going to end roughly around 900 million
domestically
is what they're expecting, and
that is insane.
Star Wars domestically is 937, so it still will be number 2 domestically.
That's fucking crazy.
And
wait, which Star Wars? Force Awakens?
Yes,
or
Force Awakens.
Okay.
Yeah. So however, looking at this, it still has a very real chance that it's going to be the 2.7 billion of Avatar globally, because right now it's at about 2.6.
That's insane. That's just so much money.
So much money, and it's just crushing other movies that are objectively really fucking dope.
Yeah.
Pikachu movie did well.
I still haven't seen Detective Pikachu yet.
I haven't seen it, but I'm saying the Rotten Tomatoes look pretty good on it.
Yeah.
John Wick.
Oh, John Wick 3
looks unreal.
I know. I'm really excited to see that. I know. I really want to see. I love John Wick.
Yeah, John Wick's amazing.
It's one of the few movies that like the second one was like on par with the first one, and the first one was incredible.
They said that the third one's better.
That's unbelievable. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I believe it. I totally believe it.
You see what Rotten Tomatoes said about
it. You know, because they proved their credibility with how good the second one was. Well, first of all, they laid the fucking foundation with the first one. And the first one was like not a big budget movie, and it did so well that the second one got an unreal budget. And I think everyone's fear was like, oh, it's going to be a big budget action movie now. It's not going to be as cool. And it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, so
the third one's going to be unreal.
It got 88% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's really good for an action movie. Like that's good for like a movie of that category.
And Pikachu did 65 critics and 83 audience.
That's great. Comedies and horror movies and action movies like usually don't.
And John Wick
do
did
super well.
92 fan.
Oh, see, there you go. See, that's what I want to go with.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
like fan, and so like anytime, like if a comedy to me does like above 60-70%, like I'm like, oh, that's solid because comedies usually don't do that well as like
because more
movies.
pop culture references that like are under the table.
Exactly.
And I believe the critics probably mark down for things where holistic communities can't understand.
Exactly.
Right. When it's a you need to know, it definitely hurts the
Which
score.
sucks because I agree because I feel like with comedies it's a lose-lose with your ratings because on one end you're going to make something that has like you're going to make a lot of references to things that only a small group of people are going to know and you're going to get shit on by the critics, but you're making like, you know, comedy that you know people are going to like that's like relevant comedy that like is funny, people are gonna like it, but because you've narrowed your audience, you're gonna get you're narrowing your audience and you're gonna get shit on by the critics because you're like being exclusive in your comedy. But then the other negative side of it is let's say that you do really broad, you know, no one's going to like the movie because no one likes super broad, everyone can relate to comedy. Like most people, the types of people that like that are people that like go to date nights at Olive Garden like every Friday night and are like super like middle class fancy people.
You don't
that are
like the free breadsticks?
No, I love the like.
I love my
amenities
the free breadsticks.
I love the amenities of
Olive Garden.
But again, it's the Walmart of Italian restaurants.
Touche.
So-
Touche. On that note, though, do you think, and I've been thinking about this for a while now, I don't think we've talked about it either on or off air. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm worried at the power that Rotten Tomatoes has garnered, not from the point of view of liking or disliking the platform, but from the point of view of trusting the validity of the work. Because, like, it's gotten to the point societally that a bad Rotten Tomatoes score opening weekend could destroy a movie.
Right.
And
You're
like-
saying that they don't have the credibility of being a resource.
Well, my any time that any one entity has that sort of
Right.
power, my first thought always gets to, well, what's their number?
exactly.
Right? Like if Endgame, just as a I don't think they did this, right? Because
Right.
the movie's objectively amazing. But let's say a movie spends $600 million all in on their casting and on their special effects and on their marketing. And then they say, okay, cool. Well, what if we just paid the site that everybody cares about $10 million? So a fraction, not even 1% of the
yeah.
total budget for them to give us an amazing rating first weekend. Right? That makes their money back tenfold.
So you don't think that Rotten Tomatoes is like has like a lot of integrity because you think that you
I'm
could,
saying that I do not know, and nor do I want to say that as my
Sure.
standpoint.
Sure.
But the thought obviously has crossed my mind
Oh,
because
sure.
they
That's
have
fair.
so much power,
yeah.
right? And it's the same thing in music with like Spotify, with
Oh,
playlisting.
yeah, people padding plays and things like that. Well,
Totally.
I mean, Tidal got in trouble with that overseas, you know. And like,
But like even like back in the day, right? Like I know this is like common knowledge to us, but it might not be to other people, and I don't really give a fuck, so I'm gonna say it. But it was very common back in the glory days of record labels for a record label to spend $200,000 on buying CDs to
Oh,
make it a number one,
absolutely.
to then go sell $1 million worth of shows.
exactly.
Right? So, it from an integrity standpoint, it's questionable. From the standpoint of business, it's a great investment.
Right.
If I can spend X dollars to garner hype to then make Y dollars, why wouldn't I do that?
Exactly. Well, because they just chalk it up to marketing. They don't have a moral problem with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like Rotten Tomatoes has gotten to the point where you're now checking it before you make a decision if you're going
Right.
to go to the movies.
Right.
Which then gets studios scared to get a bad rating, which means that they
you
might
think
spend
that
money.
they're- Or the other side of this, and the fact that you're thinking about this right now means that like you're not the only person that thinks about this.
Right. Well, I don't think.
Right.
Let me. Be
I know
clear.
you're not accusing
I don't
them of
think-
anything.
I don't think it's ever as blatant as an untold amount of money goes into a bank account and they get a score.
Sure.
I think if it happens, it is that the ad buy sales rep at Rotten Tomatoes reaches out to X studio and says, "Hey, we think that you should really sponsor posts on Rotten Tomatoes for XYZ dollars." And that studio says, "Okay, cool." And the second that you see an ad that was paid for by a movie, I have not done this research, but one could only assume that the ratings of those movies are significantly better or more consistent than the ratings of movies that do not spend money.
That makes a lot of sense. I definitely like, and all of that you just said, I know that you're not like accusing anyone of doing anything. That's not the point. Like, this is still speculative, but it's also not unreasonable.
Exactly.
You know, the other side of that is, let's talk about how influential Rotten Tomatoes is. The other side of it is because people, like, the movies that people make are now legitimately culturally affected by the Rotten Tomatoes scores. Like, it's an even more real possibility, and I guarantee happens because this happens in the music world, it happens in the food world, you know, it happens anywhere where someone has an influential rating system. People now pander and cater to that rating system because they now go, oh, well, we don't want to get a bad Rotten Tomatoes score. Hypothetically, they go, we don't want to get a bad Rotten Tomatoes score, and we typically know the types of things that they look for. So let's make this art to kind of cater to the people that review on Rotten Tomatoes so that we can get a good score so people will go see our movie.
Totally.
And when Yelp kind of first started becoming a thing, South Park made a beautiful, beautiful episode. Like, first of all, just absolutely fucking shitting on Yelpers that take it way too seriously, you know? I don't think Yelp is a bad thing. All of us benefit from Yelp, and Yelp, it's great. But whenever you have something like that, obviously you're going to have people that go like really far with it, you know? And when Yelp kind of first started to become a thing, people would get really, really they realized that Yelp was influential and that was kind of the lifeblood of like the small kind of local restaurant community, and people realize that, so they started to abuse it, and they'll be like, well, I'm a Yelper and I've got X amount of Yelp reviews, and you know, I'm kind of influential on Yelp, and like people take a lot of stock in my reviews, and so you better give me free shit or give me good service or I'm going to give you a bad review. And they lead into it with a threatening, like, conditional transactional perspective and saying like, you know, if you don't give me good service, I'm going to give you a bad review, instead of going into it objectively and saying like, let me see what kind of service I naturally receive and then give an honest review. People are manipulating the system.
Agreed, 100%. And I actually would say that Yelp, and it's a great example to explain my point of view. The reason I don't have a problem with that is because you have Yelpers, you have Instagram food bloggers, you have Foursquarers, you have multiple significantly looked at avenues to get that perspective on the item that you may transact with as a consumer. So there's all checks and balances there, right? If a restaurant really cares about their Yelper, they're going to have to deal with that person. But they have the option to tell that person to fuck off,
which they do,
and
which
go
is
to the food blogger on
amazing.
Instagram.
Exactly,
because
exactly.
For whatever reason, the culture of the Instagram food blogger is way nicer.
It's way nicer. It's way more accessible. Yeah.
However, there is no dichotomy on
for Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, they don't have a competitor.
It was Fandango, but
nobody gives a fuck about that. Nobody goes to Fandango for anything.
Right. So that's what I'm saying, is that now you have a singular entity that is making those decisions.
They've kind of monopolized movie reviews. Like, they've kind of monopolized it, you know? And if people were still putting out, you know, VHS tapes with the, you know, critics say this, and it's got the critic's name underneath the review on the back of the, you know, sleeve, today's version of that would literally be like a Rotten Tomatoes score, whatever, like in the upper right-hand corner of the sleeve, you know, like it would be that.
As I was just saying that example, I had remembered that Fandango 2 years ago bought Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, because they knew that it was
They
a better
knew.
platform.
Right.
And that's even more proof of the concept that like Rotten Tomatoes figured it out.
Right. Well, right. Exactly.
If someone buys you, then that means you're doing it right.
well, it's also the what's the word I'm looking for? It's the Netflix. I don't know if curse is the right word or lesson. So, do you remember in the late 2000s, maybe 2010s, Netflix offered to sell themselves to Blockbuster
Oh, I remember that.
for I think it was like $2 billion,
I do remember
and
that.
Blockbuster told them to go fuck themselves.
Right. Which
Right.
we all know was a really, really bad decision.
It was probably their best decision ever. Actually, now they're gone. No,
Whatever, man. I fucking loved Blockbuster.
I love Blockbuster.
I got the gourmet extra butter popcorn buckets every time I went.
Blockbuster should not have died.
I mean, at least not the way. Obviously, we now know that there's not room for it in
Well,
our
but
culture.
there is. I think
It shouldn't have died the way that it did.
Well, you know what I think? You know what I think was a missed opportunity for them? The second that they said no to Netflix and they realized how bad that was, but they still had money and they were still thriving, they should have bought GameStop.
Oh,
They should have transitioned into the collectibles and used the movies
Yeah.
as the vehicle to get people in. But
Right.
GameStop is not a stronger brand than Blockbuster was.
No.
And they do the same thing now.
Yeah, very similar.
Because you rent games
Yeah.
at GameStop, right? Can't you rent games? I'm pretty sure you can rent games.
I don't think so.
I think you could. Well, maybe now because you can do it. I haven't played video games in forever.
No, me
but now,
neither.
but now
Yeah.
you can download them, right? You can download like the pack straight to the Xbox or the PlayStation.
Right, but that's not facilitated through GameStop. That's direct from manufacturer.
But I'm saying that's new.
Right.
GameStop did rent games.
Did they?
Yeah, that's 100%.
Oh.
Yeah, they that's how they started. They were like the Blockbuster for games.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't get into GameStop until I was like a teenager.
I only know because
so that's probably
where
after.
I get a lot of my Marvel paraphernalia.
Oh, cool. Well, see, I always used to go just buy used games from GameStop because and whenever my family moved to Texas, whenever I was 15, we moved across the street from like a shopping center. It had like Walmart, GameStop, and then like I'm about to describe a shopping center to you in the South, and anyone listening that's ever been anywhere and that has seen this will automatically know what it looks like. I'm just going to tell you what's in the shopping center. Walmart was the main thing, and
Maxwell's asking us what we're up to.
oh
No, hold on.
Matt's trying to take photos
I'm retarded.
for Maxwell. He just fucked it up really bad.
Let's try it again. What the fuck? I thought that's a button.
No, your phone's flipped. Matt, so you know how you can turn your phone sideways and use the volume buttons to take photos? Matt keeps hitting the power button. And he's like, that took way too long. So in this shopping center, the main thing was a Walmart. And as an extension of the Walmart parking lot, you had like these little strips, and it was like a Sport Clips, a GameStop, a boxing center, a Little Caesars, a Payless. What else was in there? So anyway, it was just a very quintessential. It's quintessential. Yeah, my move. So when my family moved to Texas, I grew up in a really, really small town in southern Oklahoma, and then moved to.
I love everything about that statement.
Yeah, it's great.
I
I
love
loved my
Oklahoma.
childhood.
I'm sure you
loved
did.
it.
Oklahoma's an amazing place.
Amanda fucking hates Oklahoma, like
Really?
more than anything in the world.
Should we kidnap her there?
Yeah, just take her to Oklahoma and
Put,
be like,
put a blindfold on and be like, hey, this is Bird Box.
right. And here's Oklahoma. You have the weather of Louisiana and not quite the confidence of Texas, but all the incest. And so when we moved to Texas, my move, because we moved in the summer,
my
like at the beginning of summer, and so I had like the entire summer we hadn't started
From
school
Texas.
yet. Yeah, no, to Texas from Oklahoma.
Got it.
So I had the entire summer. I didn't know anyone yet. My parents were working, and because we moved for my mom's job, and my dad got a job quickly after that. And so it was like,
What did your mom do?
they both work for colleges, and so like they're both like
Oh,
advisors and
really?
professors, and like yeah.
What happened?
My entire family works in education, but me. Literally, my entire family works for colleges or.
Are you sure you're not
School
adopted?
system. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised because I'm also significantly younger than my brother and sister. If it weren't for the fact that I was in every genetically identifiable way possible a carbon copy physically and emotionally of my dad, I would straight up be like, you motherfuckers lied to me. Where's my real parents? You know what I mean? If it weren't for that.
So maybe you were just abducted.
I was abducted.
Should we do a whole episode where we like do investigative reporting about why you were abducted?
Why? Yeah, let's do it.
That'd be fun.
You know what I want to do is I want to do like a 23andMe thing or like the Ancestry thing or like whatever. Like I haven't done that. Amanda's done it with like her whole family and they got really into it and they learned a ton and like it was cool to watch. I would like to do that for my family, for me. Anyway, my move whenever I moved to Texas whenever I was 15 was to go to GameStop and get whatever Xbox game I could afford and then go get a $5 Little Caesar pizza and then just go back and sit in my room and play Xbox and eat pizza. And then this was my cycle
and
for
you're
3
how
months.
Old?
I'm 29. I turned 30 in July. And so,
amazing.
So here's my move. This is what I did.
Mine was the exact same. I want to hear this, but instead would swap Little Caesars for the tostadas at 7-Eleven.
Oh, those are super great too. Yeah. So this was my daily cycle for 3 months whenever my family moved to Texas. And when I say my family, it was just me and my parents. My brother was still finishing college in Oklahoma. My grandmother still lived there. And my sister had moved to Washington, D.C. already. Or maybe she was still in Lubbock. I can't remember. Anyway. So I would, because I didn't know anybody, we moved to like our, like we bought, like my parents got like a little townhouse because it was just the three of us and because they still had their house in Oklahoma. And so like I just had my bedroom and the only thing that I could do, I didn't know shit about this town. I couldn't drive yet and I definitely didn't know anybody because I hadn't started school. So all I did was I woke up at like, this is my day. I woke up at like 2, maybe 3 p.m. and fucking woke up, got food, played video games.
Got more food.
No, I got food immediately. As soon as I woke up, I walked across the street to either Taco Bell or fucking Little Caesars, or there was a McDonald's around there too, I think. No, there was a Wendy's for sure. It was usually Taco Bell.
Can't hate on that.
Yeah, so I would wake up around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I would go to Taco Bell. I would get food, and I would come back. I would play Xbox and or guitar for a couple of hours around maybe 5, 6 p.m., 7 p.m.
So you're honing your craft.
Like maybe, yeah, if you want to call it that. And so like maybe around 5, 6 p.m., I would like take a nap, and I would sleep for maybe another hour or 2, and then I would wake up and I'd eat dinner around like 8 or 9.
With your parents.
Maybe.
Did they hate you?
Usually
at this
not.
Point?
Not. They never told me. And so I would
you
wake
sound
back
pretty
up.
degenerate right now.
I would wake back up and I would eat dinner, and then I'd play Xbox for like another hour or 2, and then I would watch either. Oh shit! What were the 2 movies? Either Airheads with Brendan Fraser and Steve Buscemi and Adam Sandler, or
Jay and Silent Bob,
or Biodome with Pauly Shore and Stephen Baldwin. Those are the 2 movies that I had on rotation for the entire summer. And I would lay in bed and I would watch those in entirety, and I would fall asleep like before midnight and sleep till like fucking 3 in the afternoon. That was my whole life.
See,
Like,
to bring this episode full circle, it's all about timing, right? Just like the people that went to Arizona. If you had moved a year later, your life would have been so much different because you would have been able to drive.
Exactly.
Right? Like maybe you wouldn't have played guitar. Maybe you wouldn't have fallen in love with guitar.
Well, I had already at that point. By the time I was 15...
No, but you hadn't fallen in love. Like, you liked playing it. But if you moved to a new place and could just drive everywhere, maybe you find a girl. Maybe,
That's true.
Maybe you
Yeah.
start doing a bunch of drugs.
Because
maybe
the moment I discovered that, like, girls, whenever, like, it was done. It was completely done. But by the time I was 15, I had already been playing guitar for 3 to 5 hours a day for about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So, like, whenever I was about 10 was whenever I started, like, obsessing over, like, playing guitar regularly and for hours a day. So by the time I was 15, I was already, like, 4 or 5 years in of playing for, like, at least 2-3 hours a day.
That's tight.
So, yeah, I had already become, like, obsessed with it. I loved the instrument and was just like,
Do you like the banjo?
No.
Is that not a banjo?
No, those are 2 mandolins, and then there's a ukulele in there. No banjo. I had a banjo at one point because I was like, I would love to learn this too, but
Is it all the same though in
returned it.
terms of playing, or not really?
I mean,
Theoretically, but not in actuality.
yeah, I mean, like they're all fretted stringed instruments, and
Right.
so like the
to
mechanics.
some level, they're the same.
Yeah, on some level, with like the mechanics of like playing a fretted stringed instrument that's not bowed. So like obviously, like well, also like bowed instruments aren't fretted, but like yeah, a guitar or a mandolin or a banjo or a ukulele, bass, whatever. Like the mechanics of like fretting a note and like playing that note, like yeah, like there's really not much difference. But how you interact with that instrument gets different pretty quickly whenever you go through all those instruments. So
Got it. It's like the difference between skiing and snowboarding. They're both happening on snow.
exactly, yeah. You're on a board. Your feet are on a board. You're on snow. You are balancing. You're going down a
The
mountain.
end result is the same, but the path is different.
Yep. Yeah. Most of it is the same.
Got it.
Like, because if you were going to describe like a guitar or a banjo or a mandolin or a ukulele, if you were going to describe any of those, you'd be like, it's a piece of wood with a hole in it so sound can come out, and there's frets on a neck, and it's stringed, and you press down on the strings onto like I'm literally describing all of them at the same time.
Right.
You know what I mean? But how you interact with that instrument and the tonality and the timbre of that instrument, how it sounds,
That makes a lot of sense.
That's where it's different. You know what I mean?
I love it.
So.
I think that's a great place for us to go get dinner.
Yeah, we're gonna get dinner. We're gonna do another.
How long was this
tonight.
episode?
It was like 50 minutes.
Oh, wow. Felt good.
Yeah, it's less than an hour. It's like super easy.
I like the 50 to like 120 range for the me and yous.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, 45 kind of feels like it blows by, and anything
Yeah.
more than like hour 15, hour 20 is just like, okay, what the fuck do we have to talk about here? Or like, why are you still listening, listener? At that point, like if it's just me and Matt, and it's not like a movie night or there's not a guest, why are you still listening
Like,
past
are
like
you-
an hour? Like,
If you're still listening, we're going to look up your information and put a restraining order against
right,
you.
and be like, you're gonna kill us
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, 'cause, like, why? Why care about us? Who are we? Like, oh my God. But I will give you Kyle's address on the next episode.
Right to the front door.
Yeah. I think that's, I mean, Topanga is an amazing watchdog, as we found out today.
She is. Yeah. And if that's how she reacts to people she knows, can you imagine she reacts to people she doesn't know?
She transforms.
Spoiler alert, it's the same.
It's like, I was going to say, it's like the difference between like a Charmander and a Charizard.
Oh, yeah.
She evolves.
Right. Except she doesn't. She's just really shitty to people that she knows. That's the reality of the situation.
That's amazing.
So we're gonna break.
Where should we
We're
eat though? I mean, I have like two options.
Okay.
One, we can go to that. Is it Cuban place? That we
Oh
got,
yeah,
like, the chicken
Mama's.
dish?
I was gonna that was one of my options. I was gonna recommend that too.
I was gonna say that, or get like just some like protein styled hamburgers on lettuce wraps.
Well, I was gonna recommend you can do that, and I will go somewhere else.
Do you not like the hamburgers?
I don't do fast food burgers, man.
They're not
from
fast food burgers.
Were you describing In-N-Out?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're
it's
not
fast
fast
food.
The
By
meat, though-
nature, it is.
but it's not though, actually, and I will argue that quickly before we get off air because
Here's where it turns into an hour 20.
reptilian conspiracies.
This is exactly what this is. This is exactly what this is.
So In-N-Out is not fast food for the sole fact that you cannot get In-N-Out in every state because they have a parameter of what they find socially and environmentally responsible for how far their meat can travel before it gets to a store.
Right, but something being classified as fast food doesn't have anything to do with the
I think it's a for
growth
me-
of the company and where they're located.
Well, no. I think what it is that it's the expanse of how their operation works for getting the product to the vendors.
Sure.
Right, like a McDonald's, a Burger King, a Chipotle.
So your argument is based around like quality and like how the company is run and
Yeah.
how they operate. And my argument is based around function of like literally what it does and how it does it.
Okay, so here's my question to you then. You find a place that operates like a fast food restaurant, let's say like a mom and pop version of Chipotle.
Mm-hmm.
Would you not eat that?
Oh no, that's fine. I literally just don't do fast food burgers. And to
Right,
me,
but my question
it's like
is that the
a
meat though is
drive-through-
not fast food because it's never frozen.
Right. That doesn't have anything to do with the fact that like I'm not going to eat like anywhere that has a drive-through. I'm not going to get a burger there because those people also don't let you pick how that is cooked, and it's also not the way that it's not the style of hamburger that I like. So regardless of the quality or how it's made or how they like arrange that food is getting to you, the fact of the matter is that like the style of the burger is the same, and so like I understand that there are big differences between like McDonald's and In-N-Out and like all these and like Burger
But what,
King,
like a
like all these
Shake Shack?
places, like Shake Shack is a perfect
Would
example.
you eat a Shake Shack
No,
burger? But
because
there's not a drive-through.
right, but it's all this to me. It's like, and I understand that's where I made that hard line, and I understand my argument falls apart now because like I fell on that sword pretty early, but no, but Shake Shack to me is in the same category of just like a quote unquote fast food burger, and the style of it is the same. It's like the style of the burgers are all the same. Like the quality of them is different. How you get them is different. I get that. But like quote unquote fast food burgers are the style of them is all the same, or like the habit even. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are like, well, Habit burgers are really good. And I'm like, no, they're not. I've had them. They're fucking awful.
Would you eat a fast food burger if it was given to you by Keenan and the place was called Good Burger?
Yeah, if I could live in 90s Nickelodeon, I would eat fucking anything.
Would that be the trade-off if like a wizard came to you and was like, I'm going to put you in 90s Nickelodeon for eternity,
Yeah.
but you have to eat fast food?
No, I get to eat fast food because if you're saying that I get to eat a stylized, sensationalized version of what Hollywood has depicted fast food looks like, I will eat that every day for every meal for the rest of my life. Because if I could actually have a hamburger in real life that looks the way that it looks in TV and film or in SpongeBob, I'll eat it every fucking day. Like if I have a real burger that looks the way a Krabby Patty looks in a cartoon, I would eat that every day. But the reality is that they don't.
No, it's so sad.
I won't.
But I've always said that would be like a cash cow, right? Like make like a high-end McDonald's,
Oh, totally.
right? Imagine if you got a McDonald's burger that looked like the commercials.
Yeah, no, it
It'd be delicious.
It would be great. Stouts are really good. Stouts are
Stouts are
incredible.
amazing. Have I ever
burger.
brought you to Paul's Burgers in New York City?
No, we've never gone. We need to go when we go for the Soho event.
Bro, Paul's
Yeah.
Burgers, hole in the wall.
All right. Oh, dude, so that's a different category. I'll do hole-in-the-wall burgers. I'll do hole-in-the-wall food all day because it's different.
Yeah.
Because the style is different.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah, it's a
hole
different
in the
style.
wall. It's on St. Mark's in the East Village. It's unreal.
Dude.
It's actually, just to give you a perspective of where, it's next door in actuality to where the shawarma place is that they filmed that extra scene in Avengers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's next door to
That's
it.
awesome. The end of the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just, the building's just fucking destroyed and they're just sitting there.
So
and they're
next
just-
door, so
That's
that's at
great.
a place called Pommes Frites.
Okay.
Next door is Paul's Burgers.
You know what? Here's the difference to me between, because a lot of people would make the argument, like, well, hole-in-the-wall foods are just like shitty food too. I'm like, yeah, it's shitty food. That's the point. But here's my argument. The difference between fast food and hole-in-the-wall food is that fast food doesn't have any integrity. And hole-in-the-wall food is made by someone that says, I don't care how you feel about these ingredients or what I'm doing or how I'm doing it. I know best. This is how this is best. Eat it or not. It's $6. Get the fuck out. Like, that's hole-in-the-wall food.
Yeah.
And that's, it's honest.
Yeah.
It knows what it is. Fast food's trying to trick you, and that's why McDonald's puts salads on the menu. You fat fuck, you're not going to McDonald's for a salad. It's not happening. No one does. And if you do, it's a consolation, and you go, well, I just tried to make the best of a bad situation of going to McDonald's. Just don't fucking go to McDonald's.
It's the other thing. I always thought that they put it on the menu to fat shame people, right?
just McDonald's is like, fuck you, be skinny. Like,
No. It's like, it's even worse than that. I always think that they put it on so that the skinny friend can go with the fat friend, and then the fat friend watches the skinny friend eat the salad and be like, fuck.
McDonald's play mind games with people, and they're just like, I saw these two dudes yesterday. They're fucking at the gym, and it's like one of them was trying to get in the shape, and the other one already is in shape, and so I'm going to put this menu together now. Like, fuck both of those guys. I just want to like watch like dissension occur.
Now two friends who have different life goals can go to the same place to eat, and the one who has the worst life goals can really feel bad about themselves now.
Right. I'm all
Because
about...
they feel physically bad after they eat it. Now they feel mentally bad.
Now you're emotionally affected by your physical choices.
Yes.
I'm all about making people feel bad, man. That's the best thing to do.
On that note.
Yeah, on that note, we're going to end this episode. And we're going to end it in a really awkward way to make you feel bad.